ToonGrin.
Hey, Nero Knights, I'm back. You know, I was checking my email the other day, which I gotta tell you, thank you to everyone who actually notices the damn thing at the end of every episode. And for those of you who haven't been paying attention, there it is. Feel free to drop me a line. You got a request? Send it. You got a comment about the show? Send it. You want to be a troll and a douche nozzle and harass the fuck out of me? Hey, send it there, I guess. But anyways, I was checking my email, and this particular email brought up a very interesting point. Hi Nero, I heart your show. It is awesome. Could you review anime too? Fuck yeah, I love anime. Hell, have you guys even seen my shelf back here? And for my first anime to review, I've picked Fullmetal Alchemist, the Sacred Star of Milos. For those of you who aren't otaku, Fullmetal Alchemist is the story of two young alchemist brothers named Edward and Alphonse Elric. The two are victims of an attempt at human transmutation, a taboo practice in the world of alchemy. They were attempting to bring their mother back from the dead, but the experiment went wrong and crippled them in the process. Edward lost an arm and a leg, and Alphonse lost his entire body, resulting in his soul being sealed into a suit of armor. Now the two search the world for the Philosopher's Stone, the one object that can help them become whole again. I should also note that there are two versions of this anime. The first is Fullmetal Alchemist, and the other is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. What's the difference between the two? Well, besides the animation quality being much better in Brotherhood, I think Brotherhood follows the manga a lot closer than the original show did. Really? I don't fucking care. I'm still pissed that Dragon Ball Z hasn't gotten a beautiful remake. And don't anyone dare bring up that cock-teased Dragon Ball Z Kai. That opening animation was so fucking beautiful. My heart melted. Then I saw the footage they were using from the old show and I fucking died a little inside. Now, bitter resentment aside, let's take a look at Fullmetal Alchemist, the Sacred Star of Milos. We open up to a family escaping from their home in fear as their homeland is under siege.
The research facility has been prepared for your arrival. Welcome to your new home in Crichton. Lieutenant Atlas, Sergeant Hershel.
Okay, see this guy? This guy right here? This is Atlas. Remember Atlas. So the family is taken by the military into protective custody, away from their homeland. And look, this land has concentration camps and everything. Ah, will the Nazi allegories ever cease? No, that's kind of the whole premise of Fullmetal Alchemist's parallels to Nazi Germany. So we jump ahead a few years, and it turns out Julia, voiced by Alexis Tipton, was just having a nightmare. The backstory for these two kids, Julia and Ashley, is that they are Crichtons, from the country of Crichton. Interesting choice of words there on the writer's part. Anyways, these kids are basically from a race of people that have been oppressed by the military, just like the Ishbalans from the anime series of Fullmetal Alchemist. Their parents are alchemists that apparently are doing some kind of research, looking for some sort of great power, according to the myth of their people.
Mom and Dad have been working on some pretty amazing stuff. It's incredible.
I know. They were looking into the great power, weren't they?
More than just that.
Huh?
The great truth underlying our world.
That sounds really important.
Yeah. We can decode it, and then we'll use it to create a world that nobody has ever seen before.
That reminds me of someone else who wanted to change the world. But who was it again? 99999! Nazi allegories for everyone! So hearing a noise, Ashley goes to check out what it was, and it's revealed that his parents have been brutally murdered.
What's happening?
Get out of here! Hooray!
Then we cut to a big fun festival. That seems a tad inappropriate due to the massive change in tone, but then again I've never written my own movie, so maybe I'm just being a narrow-minded asshole. Also, that last bit we saw, that part with the kids and their parents being dead, yeah, that was a flashback. So, we started with a flashback that ended in a flashback that ended with murder, and now we're in the present.
Huh?
So anyways, at the festival, it's here we get to meet the real protagonist of Fullmetal Alchemist. The big brother, Edward Elric, voiced by Vic Mignogna, and the little brother, Alphonse Elric, voiced by Maxie Whitehead.
Rise and shine! Happy Harvest Festival!
Don't scare me like that, Al!
Sorry, here's your sandwich. They gave me these poppers when I bought it.
Those are some damn good poppers! So Ed and Alphonse go to check out the explosion, and it turns out that there was a prison break. They end up having found the convict behind the breakout, an alchemist by the name of Melvin Voyager, voiced by Matthew Mercer. And this is where the movie and the Fullmetal Alchemist show just shines. Basically, when alchemists fight, the environment in it of itself is a weapon. It is so freaking cool. You'll just be amazed at the crazy shit that happens when alchemists begin to have a throwdown.
Not too shabby!
Shocks don't work on the metal one, huh?
Anyway, Melvin Voyager manages to escape, and then we cut to Central City, where we get to meet Colonel Mustang and his gal Friday, Riza Hawkeye, and they get to have a meeting with the Elric brothers. I should note for all the fans of the actual show, enjoy Riza and Roy while you can, because they are barely in this movie. The four go over to the prison, and they look for clues and end up discovering a newspaper article.
Hey, look! There's a piece missing from this paper. The fire didn't do this, it was torn out.
An article from yesterday's Central Times, evening edition.
So this picture is what he tore out then?
And Julia Crichton.
It says a group of illegal immigrants from Creta have been arrested in Table City. Huh.
Table City?
So the Elrics take a train to Table City in hopes of finding a lead on the Philosopher's Stone to recover their bodies. Also, another staple of the Fullmetal Alchemist series as a whole are chimeras, half-human, half-animal hybrids, and this movie has those too. There's this huge wolf chimera, well, 3 of them technically, but we only really focus on this one particular chimera who actually has speaking roles. This wolf chimera ends up getting into a huge fight with Edward Elric on top of the trains, while at the same time, a terrorist group known as the Black Bats attack the train. Jesus, a chimera attack and a terrorist attack? So the Black Bats take off after their attempt to save the Crichton prisoners turns out to be a trap set by the military to kill them, and the chimera disappears after its fight with Ed.
Now, by now you guys might have noticed there's a little something wrong with the film here, and that's all this shit's compiling together. I mean, there's so much shit going on at once. I don't know who to root for. There's a werewolf, and there's a fucking terrorist attack. It's the Michael Bay of anime movies is what this is. And if you think this is a ton of shit to take in, wait until we get to the ending, because that is a special kind of climax.
So the battle from the train continues to fucking drag on to when they actually enter the city. Melvin Voyager, the criminal from earlier, is destroying the walls of a nearby prison and releasing its inmates. From the prison, Julia, the little girl from the beginning of the movie, is trying to escape. She does manage to escape the prison along with Melvin and Alphonse Elric, who enter the valley that surrounds Table City. Here, Alphonse is taken prisoner, and Ed heads down to go looking for him. So underground in the valley, Ed does manage to find Alphonse, and the Wolf Chimera manages to find them, tracking down Melvin Voyager, who is in fact Julia's long-lost brother, Ashley.
Huh?
Oh, jeez. Now we got this guy, and I have to mention this guy. This is Colonel Hershel. You guys need to kind of remember him, because despite barely being in this movie, he plays some relevance towards the end. And trust me when I say this, when the reveal of him comes to light, you'll be bashing your head against the fucking wall just like I was. So they kill the Wolf Chimera and manage to retreat to the Inner Sanctum, where they figure out their plan of operation, and that's to get the Sanguine Star. But the star that these people have been pining to get and, have been working hard throughout the entire course of the movie, and from what the movie gives us throughout the entire back history of these characters, is that they need this stone to save their Holy Land. Well, it turns out that this particular stone is the same thing known as the Philosopher's Stone. And how does one get a Philosopher's Stone?
Julia, you have to listen to me. If this Sanguine Star is the same thing known in Amestris as the Philosopher's Stone, then the ingredients for it.
The ingredients for it are human lives.
Human lives, you mean?
Yes. Immortality is created from cruelty.
This is the fucking TV show. I mean, everything in this is from the fucking TV show. The military being bad guys, people being subjugated, searching for the stone. I don't get it. Did we really need to take the whole premise of the show and compile it into a single fucking movie?
So while exploring the underground ruins, the Elrics are caught. This allows them to be taken out of the movie for a long-ass time while we focus on these new characters. Honestly, you ever get the feeling movies like this are made just to pawn off new characters that no one truly gives a shit about? Devil May Cry, the anime, tried pulling that shit, and it was annoying there, too. Alright, so the Black Bats, along with Ashley and Julia, have made it into the center of Table City.
You hear that? Here it comes.
Speaking tube for delivering orders. There are many just like this one spread throughout the Holy Land. They are just used as speaking tubes now, but long ago they had another use, a much different one.
They were used for something else?
Yes, and that's the secret of the Holy Land.
What are you? What did you do to her? Are you crazy, Ashley?
My brother!
It was a necessary sacrifice.
What are you talking about?
See for yourself. All of these speaking tubes are connected together in a giant network that runs throughout the Holy Land. Any guesses what happens when a person's lifeblood flows through them? And there you have it. The tower comes alive to collect every last drop. What we've activated is a three-dimensional transmutation circle drawn in human blood.
It can't be.
This is nothing. A face heel turn is kind of expected with this shit, but the ending, that's what really sets off the what the fuck-a-meter.
It's about time, Lieutenant Atlas. This has been a long 5 years in the making.
I know it has, Raoul. Thanks for waiting. You've done well watching over Julia.
I don't understand.
Alright, let me see if I got this straight. Atlas, the guard, he faked his... No, wait. So, Atlas was pretending to be Melvin Voyager, and as Melvin Voyager, he was actually posing as Ashley in disguise, but was really Atlas the entire time, just so he can get into the city and get to make the Sanguine Star.
Huh?
So the Sanguine Star, aka the Philosopher's Stone, is made, and the Eds save Julia, and then some crazy shit happens when Julia eats the stone and is empowered by it, and she fights Atlas.
What are you doing?
My father, my mother, my brother! You killed them! You killed them all!
Hey now, this scene needs the appropriate music, which I shall happily supply. By now, some of you are probably wondering how in the fuck did Atlas manage to look like Ashley? Behold, viewers, exposition at its finest.
That was an impressive job you did transmuting the star. You asked who I am. Don't you remember me, Atlas?
Can't be, not you.
Yes. Before you peeled off my face, people knew me as Ashley Crichton.
Huh?
So basically, everything ends well. Julia saves Ashley, regenerating his skin, though losing her leg in the process. The Crichtons, take back their Holy Land, proclaiming it as an independent nation. And the Elrics go back home, never to speak of this movie and the continuity of the show ever again. Oh, and Winry was there too, but who fucking cares? The movie's over.
And that was Fullmetal Alchemist, the Sacred Star of Milos, and it was...
Okay, the positives. Voice acting is real good. Soundtrack is good. Animation at times sort of feels like it lags, but otherwise it's good. But the overall feel for this movie is pretty disappointing and depressing. Something that the Fullmetal Alchemist TV series, both of them, and the manga has over this movie is the balance of comedy and drama. It's not one-sided, where this film clearly seems to dive heavily more into the drama. The characters from the show like Ed, Al, Mustang, Riza are good, but cut me a fucking break. Couldn't we get more of Armstrong? He only makes a cameo and doesn't even whip off his shirt in a glorious fashion. That's bullshit!
It's true what you said. The opposite of creation is destruction, and both must be served. Destroy and create. It's the grand currency of the universe, and it's the charge of the Armstrongs to carry out both!
The new characters are not memorable at all, and I feel like they push away the characters we want to see for their own personal story. Remind you of anyone? The plot twist with Colonel Hershel being the real Ashley comes out of nowhere, and since Hershel is barely in the movie, this reveal comes off more as a what the fuck moment than a revelation. Now, Atlas being Ashley, that was actually a pretty good idea, but it suffers the same problem as Hershel's reveal. Atlas is barely in the movie. We see him in a passing glance at the very beginning, and that's it. He doesn't really have any weight because we don't see him tied to the main characters, so his big face heel turn is pretty pointless. It doesn't really carry any weight and doesn't make it memorable. Julia, she's nothing special. There's nothing about her that's interesting or new to the world of FMA. She's just sort of there. For fans of Fullmetal Alchemist, my advice is skip this movie. It adds nothing to the mythos of FMA and really has no clout in the continuity of the main series. For those who are new to Fullmetal Alchemist, I'd say do yourselves a favor and just watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. You'll be getting everything that this movie offers plus so much more. And besides, if you skip the show, you'll end up missing one of the greatest characters ever put to anime history.
So that's 2 fan requests now, and both of them have been bombs. Granted, the anime of choice was my own, so that's my own fault, but still. But you know what? I've been getting a 3rd request, and this has actually been my biggest request so far, and I think I'd be a dick if I didn't. So, next review, guys, Puss in Boots. Not that version.
I'm claiming the Holy Land. Come, Julia, we can do it together, creating more stars as brother and sister.
So in other words, what you're saying is...
Join me, and I will complete your training. With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict